I'm Virginia McGathey here on the floor at the CME Group reporting on the livestock market today. Cattle was higher. Seems like it's consolidating in a $2 range, maybe 108.5 to 111, which has really been actually pretty good. Maybe that's a little more than $2 range, but it's actually relatively strong in spite of everything that's going on. Now, seasonal strength is really holding futures up, but in the lower part of that narrow range. Now, any uptick in cash trade that's expected later in this week, maybe later on today or tomorrow on Friday. I think that that could give the market a little bit of a boost here. Now, that even being said, there has been a super surge of the grain market, and so that might put a little bit of a lid on some of the cattle. So we're watching that closely. I think maybe it had somewhat of an effect on the feeders because the feeders today were steady. The grain prices did put that squeeze on those futures. Long liquidation has been slowing somewhat, so we were hoping to have a little bit more of a lift in the market, and maybe that kept it from going down further. Some buying interest was expected to improve really later in the week, and those rise in those feed prices are really going to just cap any kind of significant rally. And perhaps as far as feeders go, the high could be in. That being said, we're still at a pretty decent area in spite of all that's been going on around the world and what's happening here in the U.S. as far as the trade wars go. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed on that one. Hogs did bounce a little bit, but yet another new contract low at the start of the session. But it bounced, and it kind of really had bargain hunters stepping in and getting prices that they have not seen since 2016. And before that, it was 2009 is when we saw prices this low. So these are some serious lows, folks. So we have to really take a look at that and see, exactly what we're going to do to try to shore up these markets. The bearish sentiment is unfortunately, still intact right now. Our only hope is Mexico. I know that we're hoping that they were going to improve their talks again, and if we can get something going with trade talks with Mexico, and they're so close, they will definitely take a lot of the pork off our hands, and that would be some serious relief to a lot of our farmers out there, hoping that we can kind of tap in and eat through some of the supplies that we have here. If that we're definitely holding our breath here, and it's going to be a number of weeks before we'll know. But any kind of talks could really help, and that could give this market a little bit of a surge. And perhaps once we get it turned around, it'll have a long way to go. But at this point right now, it had just one bounce today. That's all from the floor at the CME Group here in Chicago. I'm Virginia McGathey.